Hey there, people. Society Lee. I'm going to be commentating a ranked game played by my friend, well, two of my friends, Canterlup and Percocet Rhi here playing Graves and Sona respectively. Just starting out this ridiculous Lee Sin skin. Like, look at that thing. It looks so weird. It's like hopping around like a retard. Anyway, um, so he's going to be starting off at red. It looks like, which is pretty common for Lee Sins. It's a great way to. I mean, he doesn't really need blue. You know, all he needs blue for is cooldown reduction. Actually, and I think it gives you energy regen a little bit, but um, yeah, he doesn't really need to start blue. He can start red and get the advantage of having that red buff early on, and get a quick level 2 and gank top or mid. So that's what it looks like is gonna happen here. Newly's gonna go ahead and leash. Getting a great pull there from the Nidalee. And he is taking a lot of damage. I think he's got he's got the wrong runes. Yeah, he's only got 40 armor. That's not really sufficient. See, you see here me checking, and I'm commentating this after the fact. I was checking to see which runes he had. I was pretty sure they were the wrong ones. So we're going to start out with their opponents, Tarek and Ezreal. As far as who's the stronger lane, I'd say that I'd put them about even. I mean, Graves can get stunned by Tarek's. Is it Dazzle? I think it's Dazzle. The stun is obviously strong, but Graves takes so little damage with the armor buff, and he's got Sona there to heal him up. And Sona's got some relatively long range poke to complement Graves' lack of long range poke. Nocturne coming in here for a bush gank. They're gonna go ahead and send that unnecessary flash by Rhi there. I think she was gonna be just fine. I mean, even if she did get shattered right there, they weren't gonna be able to, you know, melt her from full to dead right in front of the turret. Not that quickly, anyway. So, going back to lane, doing a bit of trading. You can see we've got ward there in the brush from blue team. That's smart, especially with Ezreal in lane. It's gonna make it very hard for them for Graves to, you know, lie in wait there in the brush and jump out and buckshot Ezreal right in the face. So looks like we got a death from somebody who died. Oh, the Olaf. The Olaf died up top. So he's just farming at the turret. Doing pretty well so far. He's got 16 to Graves' 12. What a pattern that I've noticed with a lot of, because I don't play at high elo. I play at, you know, mid-range elo. I think this game is at about 1200 or so. And what happens a lot with Ezreal's early game is they pay attention way too much to try and they pay attention far too much to poking the enemy AD, and they end up missing out on a lot of gold. See, you can see that he's already 6 behind. Now he's 5 behind. That's like 120 gold. You know, that's looks like Rhi's gonna go down here, and they're gonna trade a kill on and he's not leaving. Graves thinks he can win that, and Lee Sin comes in with a clutch shield, and they pick him up. But even before that, even before the Lee Sin came in and they decided to trade ADs, that was still a good trade on purple side, just because it's always better if you can kill. You saw that the Terra got the kill on the enemy support. Obviously that gives the AD carry some more gold. And I believe he would have been fine. I believe he would have been fine to continue farming for a little bit there. Tarek's obviously on the way back in, but could have picked up a couple more creeps, but he's going to go ahead and head back and pick up Zerg Greaves. And the Doran's at a few potions. So We're heading back to lane here. Just following him. I really wish okay, some shoddy camera work here on my part. Could have been watching something other than just Craves walking back to lane, but no, I'm new at this, so bear with me. So we're gonna walk back into lane. Looks like we got yeah, Canter's still at a 5 CS advantage so far. Looks like Derek's running and he's gonna get a dazzle off on Sona here. Ezreal not following up at all. I guess he's scared of the buckshot. I definitely think he could have thrown down some more harass there for sure. Oh, ward in the brush there, and this Ezreal is not even. Yeah, he didn't even Q. This is obviously it's 1200 elo, so you can expect just the greatest play. But I mean, I really think they could have gotten Sona very, very low there, if he had been able to actually land his skill shots on onto Sona instead of just out into the middle of nowhere. Morgana picking up a kill in mid lane. She's 1-0, and you'll see that she plays quite a big part in this game coming up. So yeah, just doing some farming. Morgana running over to pick a blue buff up from Nocturne. So she's gonna, yeah, she's gonna be a force to be reckoned with. Got a kill up on this Nidalee in mid lane, and you can already see that there's about a 500 gold disparity there between our mid laners. Dazzle going off on, nope, nothing gonna happen. Just trade a few auto attacks, and you can see the strength of. You can just see the strength of True Grit is just a very, very strong passive. It makes it. Oh, ulti coming in here from Nocturne. He's gonna dash and flash away, and looks like he will get away. No, okay, yeah, he gets away. Very close there, very close. The minions. Luckily, that was very lucky for Canter there that. There was an incoming minion wave, because if Ezreal had free reign to be popping off skill shots while he was running after him, he would have almost certainly died there. I'm just checking out what Canter's running there. 21 armor pin. That means he's got armor pin, reds, and quints. Which is a very strong. That's a strong way to go, considering he's going up against a Taric in lane. That's going to help him out tremendously, because he's going to have a decent amount of armor from his True Grit and Sona's armor buff, and he's going to be shredding Taric's armor, which is a large part of what makes Taric a good support. I mean, the stun is obviously his biggest claim to fame, but the armor buff is not something to be underestimated, for sure. Oh, and got a skill shot coming in here, and yep, Nidalee's going to go down here with the second half of the Morgana ultimate. And this Morgana already 2-0, 55 CS. She's setting up to do some work here in the late game. Oh, 61 CS, excuse me, after she picked up that second minion wave there. So, oh, yep, running back, picking up a needlessly large rod and a couple wards. So, yeah, I'll look back here at bot lane, check up, see how Canter's doing so far. Yeah, pulling far ahead of this Ezreal here. 60 to Ezreal's 33. That's that means instead of Canterlup being 1-0-1, that makes gold wise that effectively makes him 3-0-1 with a 31 minion advantage. Now he's much closer to. He's a lot closer to 3-0-1, so he's got quite the goal advantage at this point. already got two double Doran, Zerg Greaves, and his Vamp Scepter, so it's going to be very, very, very hard for Ezreal to do anything to push him out of lane at this point, just because he takes so little damage, and whatever he does take is going to be very quickly healed up by the Vamp Scepter and the two Dorans. So that's, I think Vamp Scepter gives you 10% lifesteal now. I think it's 10, maybe 12. Yeah, I think it's 10. So yeah, he's got about 60% lifesteal, and that's nothing to shake a stick at for sure, because I'm pretty sure he's probably got about 180 at this point. Taric hopping back in the lane. I'm just checking out the skill there. So yeah, if Graves lands one of those, you can see 35% for each additional bullet. So if he's if he's point blank range, that buckshot is going to hit very, very hard early game. It tends to fall off a lot late game. His buckshot just doesn't do as much work. Graves is more of an early and mid game champion. He's not going to carry nearly as hard as say Kog'Maw or Ashe or Tristana. Purely because its range is shorter. I mean, his attack speed steroid is it's on par with the others. It's not as good as the Q from Tristana, but it is a relatively okay positioning, escapability. But the problem with him is just his range is significantly shorter than everyone else's. We got a gank coming in here from Nocturne, and he does miss his Q, but they're gonna land a stun here. And I'm thinking Mr. Canterlup is going to go down here. I can't see him getting out of that. Yep, Tickle My Pete picking up the kill. That's 2 kills for Taric there. I believe that that's going to play a pretty good part in this lane. To be honest, it's I generally don't give my supports too hard of a time when they get the kills or when they last hit. When they last hit somebody that I was trying to kill, or we get a kill and they end up with the majority of the gold, I don't make too big of a deal out of it, but just because it's something that they already generally are like, ah, darn. Sorry, man, and I'm just like, no, that's fine, don't worry about it, but that's 2 kills now going to Taric, so that's not the greatest. It's not the greatest for sure. Considering Ezreal's kind of like Graves. He's not a particularly strong late game carry. So you need that money early. You need that money during the laning phase, and pre 30 minutes ish. You need that money so that you can do what Ezreal's do best, and that's just be a bastard and just keep people at range while still putting down some solid damage on them. We're looking at mid lane here. Italy just fallen pretty seriously behind this Morgana here. She's 3-0 and 90, and she's 0-3 and about 15 minions or so behind. Which you wouldn't really expect. You wouldn't really expect an Italy to get shut down so hard by Morgana, just because she's pretty mobile, she is ranged, and she's got a heal, so it's not a sustained issue. Oh, picking up another kill. I missed that there. So yeah, another kill going down from Morgana in the mid lane. Not good. When a Morgana gets that kind of money early game, she's gonna play a huge part in these early dragon fights and Baron fights when that time becomes appropriate. And he does get the big cannon creep there. That's never fun when you end up missing the big creeps, because it's just like, darn it. That's not that many of those, and I typically will, if I have the mana available, I'll just go ahead and burn, like if I'm on Bane, I'll go ahead and burn a tumble to make sure that I get that money, because that's 30. I mean, it doesn't seem like a ton, but 35 gold, that's a potion that you could be picking up that you wouldn't have otherwise had. Morgana coming in here for a gank. Taric gonna land the stun. Probably should have waited on the Taric stun to go ahead and try to land a binding. But Sona ultimate, I'm just gonna go ahead and disengage that fight. Oh, she does land one on the Sona there, and you can just see how much damage that binding is putting down on the Sona there. It's like we're pursuing it. Oh my god, that Morgana just completely turning that fight around. One binding just absolutely making it impossible for them to win. Oh, and double kill for Ezreal. And you can see that having one thing about having a really fed Morgana is if she's already got the money, typically she's going to enable the other people. She's not like an Annie or something where she can melt. She can usually melt people from full to dead. She can with her ultimate. If she's got an advantage and has the ability to walk up, land all three of her skills, you know, binding, tormented soil, and her ultimate. She does have that. She does have that full health melting potential, but usually she's not going to land all three on one champion. So what having a fed Morgana will oftentimes do for you is it brings people low enough so that the rest of your team can get that money too, which is a lot stronger than just having, you know, say having a. It's much better for Ezreal to have 2 kills. So he just went back and picked up his Greaves and Sheen. It's much better for everyone on a particular team to have access to all that money, because one person being, you know, just a hyper carry, having all the money on a team, they can, for one, it makes it a lot easier with like positioning wise. They just know, stay away from that person. If we can pull people away from the Morgana, then we're gonna have, you know, we can isolate them. But if it's everybody on the team having an equal amount of money, then it's much harder to know what to avoid and who's gonna who's gonna be putting out that damage. As well as it's just always better to, because you're gonna need money on the AD carry to begin with, because they help you snowball. Having a fed AD not only is gonna do the most damage, unquestionably, a fed AD carry is going to be able to melt the whole team, whereas a Morgana, yeah, in her case, she has the ability to do a lot of damage to a whole team, but not like Graves and not like Kog'Maw or Tristana. They can, if they're left alone and they don't get focused in a team fight, then they can literally kill everyone on the enemy team if given enough time. And right there, you see that when I was originally spectating this game, I was making some comments on this Olaf's build, which I found was kind of odd with the Executioner's Calling, but I ended up deeming it an okay item, just because I didn't realize that he had a Warwick. He was facing a Warwick in lane. I still believe that it would have been better for him to just go Wriggles and sustain along with him. Because even with the active on Executioner's Calling, he's gonna have to melt the Warwick from full to dead for that to be really an effective choice. But as always, that's just my opinion. So having a look at Canter's items, looks like he's running in to go ahead and pick up a Bloodthirster. Bloodthirster is, I mentioned this in my original commentary of this game, which, you can believe it or not, my mic was off. I commentated an entire game, an entire replay. I was spectating this live, and my mic was off the whole time. So yeah, that's never fun. But I brought up this point in my original commentary of this video, that Bloodthirster is a mid-game item. It's not going to hit. There's numbers to prove that Bloodthirster is not going to hit as hard as an Infinity Edge. It's just not, especially on champions that are primarily auto attacks. Bloodthirster works on champions like Pantheon or Ezreal. It works on champions that can crit with their ability, or that most of their damage comes from their abilities, which they can't crit with. But for pure auto attack damage, Infinity Edge is stronger, flat out. And typically, it's not going to be as strong. It's not going to be as strong on champions that aren't going to be taking a lot of damage. because if you are taking, like, say you're playing Tristana, if you're taking a ton of damage to the point that you're going to be needing that lifesteal, then you're doing something wrong, chances are, to begin with. But on a champion like Graves, he really does have to get, he does have to sort of get closer to the middle of the team fight. He has to get up in people's faces and buckshot and ultimate and put his damage out that way. He can't just sit way far in the back like a Tristana can. Yeah, so Lee Sin going down here after, despite his valiant attempts to escape. Morgana picking up that kill. She's at 7-0 now, already a death cap at 21 minutes. So she is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Recognize here, not playing around. So Cantor did go back and go ahead and pick up that Bloodthirster. I feel like that's a good choice. That's a good choice in this scenario, because he needs the damage now, because he wouldn't be able to, if he didn't have the Bloodthirster right now, he'd be sitting there with a BF sword and a pickaxe, which obviously is weaker than a Bloodthirster, which he can go ahead and it gives you Bloodthirster also. It gives you the ability to, if you make smart decisions and you keep from dying, then you're going to keep that thing stacked at 100 damage, which is significant, certainly significant. So it gives you the ability, it gives you some more comeback potential. If you can keep that farmed up before team fights, it's going to give you some great mid game damage. My original comment on this was that I thought it was pretty shabby that the Nocturne was able to just walk up and take mid tower. Especially it wasn't after a team fight or anything like that. He just sort of walked up and took it. Oh, and the fear's going to go off on Cantor here. Binding land. Oh, and Morgana going to go ahead and flash in on them. And yeah, that was just a lot of damage. Not a whole lot you can do once that binding goes down. If she's got the if she's 7-0 like this, you're pretty much screwed. So they're putting some pressure on mid tower here. Oh, and just not smart from the Nidalee. You can see that's the type of play that you get from. That's the kind of play that led to this Morgana being just so fed in this game. Because there's two champions there. If she wanted to try to stop the tower from being hit, just auto attack the minions. Give them less time to sit there without the tower shooting at them. Because it's very seldom that you're gonna find opponents that are dumb enough to just sit in tower range and just die from that ability. She could have either auto attacked the minions or just gone really far back and tried to get a max range spear, and that possibly could have melted off that last bit of Ezreal's health there. So we got still farming top with the Warwick and the Olaf. He's actually winning out. Our blue team Olaf is actually winning in farm against Warwick. That's not totally surprising. Just because Warwick really doesn't have any way to farm creeps in an AoE, whereas Olaf has his Undertow, which is a great farming tool. Looks like we've got a lot of players on the blue team heading top for this Warwick. Nocturne gonna ult in, and yeah, he's certainly gonna go down here. And you see the blue team just immediately heading into our jungle here. And there's not really a whole lot that they can do about it. They just have to sort of forfeit their buffs and forfeit their jungle. And Nidalee gonna go ahead and run around the long way. Apparently, I think she may get caught here. We'll see. But it looked like she could have made it out just walking straight back. So yeah, we're just preparing to defend this turret here if we can. Canter gonna go ahead and head back. Nope, looks like they're gonna try to pressure Baron. Blue team, that is. Tarek throwing down some wards. And yep, we're getting pings here of the Baron for purple side. Oh, they do have vision of this. They do have vision of this. And you see here, Warwick and Lee Sin just going ahead and jumping in. Just, I mean, they knew all 5 champions were up, and the Baron was at full health. So really not a smart choice from the Lee Sin and the Warwick here. They had no there was no implications of stealing the Baron there. It was nowhere near smite range, and they were just gonna jump in as 2 champions against 5 champions. And obviously it didn't work out very well for them. One thing that I was confused about when I originally watched this is why Purple Team didn't just go ahead and finish off the Baron there. I mean, none of them seemed to be very low on health, and they knew there was only 3 people up on the enemy team. I would have just said, okay, cool, we got 2 of the enemies out of the way, pick up Baron, push that mid tower. But they decided to back off, and looks like Nocturne went down and took Dragon. Yep. Tickle my Pete, going ahead and picking up an Oracles. That's a smart move. That's what you want to do. If you're in an advantage like this, 19 and 5. Obviously, this vary. It's with a 10k gold disadvantage. It's very unlikely that and all the kills are on the right people. Ezreal's 4 and 1. Morgana's 10 and 0. You know, if it was 7 kills on Tarek, then it wouldn't be as big of a deal that they had a 10k gold disadvantage, but it's on the right people. But going back to Oracle's Elixir, what you do when you see these kind of games where you know you're ahead, you know you have map control, all their first level turrets are down, so they've lost all the map control from the center of the map and the river. What you want to do is you want to pick up Oracle's Elixir and just ward some key spots on their side of the map, like say the small brush above red buff, the one above blue buff, and you see the little brush there that just popped up on the screen next to next to mid tower. That's a good place to ward as well. And then it's not really necessary for you to spend the extra money to ward Baron, Dragon, and your side of the map, because they're not going to be over there. They couldn't make it to your side of the map without passing one of the wards that's on their side, and it basically it makes their entire jungle unsafe. You just can't. They can't go farm their own jungle. All they can do is farm in lane, and that means that you have tabs on them at all times, and you take complete control of not only your buffs but their buffs as well. Red and blue, obviously, is what I'm talking about. So we see some pressure coming down from from blue side onto this top turret here. Nocturne going to go ahead and pick up mid. Nidalee apparently couldn't do anything about that. Binding landing on our AD carry here. We get dazzled. Oh, Warwick going to jump in and ult, but the team wasn't ready for that ult. They just weren't. They weren't there. Oh, but maybe. Let's see what we can make happen here. It does look like blue side's on the run, but oh, and Olaf coming in from the jungle, putting a lot of pressure on Canterlup here. He has to run away, gets ignited. Oh, okay. So Graves picking up a kill with the buckshot here, and gets taken out by the Nocturne. So it's a 3-for-2 trade. But to be honest, if it wasn't Nidalee playing, if it wasn't that person playing Nidalee, I would maybe say that it's no, never mind. That's not. I was going to mention that I was going to try to make the point that the person with the most kills on the blue side has gone down now. So maybe if it wasn't the support that was up, then they would be okay. But no, that's not going to work out for them. And you can just see that they can't. Olaf just freely taking red buff. There's nothing that there's nothing purple side could do, because I mean when you're in that position, it's all 5 of the enemy team could be anywhere in your jungle at any time. They have no map awareness at this point, except for you know, that small ward, I believe is, I'm assuming that's a ward down there by Graves in the bottom part of the jungle, near their blue buff. That's the only vision they have. That and the minions in lane, which are gonna get slowly pushed back. I'm just checking out the gold here, and you can see that Graves still farming very well. 227 at 30 minutes. It's not incredibly good, but it's a solid creep score for sure. Managed to keep his money pretty high, regardless of the rest of the team not doing the greatest. I'm going for a second BF sword here. Oh, Sona getting caught. Yep, she's definitely gonna go down there. There's nothing she can do there, and that's you never want to be warding without either already having vision or having backup in the form of teammates near you, or towers if it's earlier game. You never want to just go be warding alone as a support, because there's a very good chance that you'll run into somebody on the enemy team. And being the support, you pretty much can't 1v1 anybody. Oh, Morgana gonna get a binding into a flash ulti, and I believe she only caught Graves with the stun there. But it's looking like they're gonna go ahead and clean up this team fight. Pushing past the inhibitor to take the minions out, while Olaf, with his extreme attack speed buff from being at 150 health, is going to go ahead and bring that tower down. And he's just going to go ahead and head back. And I guess blue side's going to back off now. I believe they could put some more pressure there, to be honest. With the Taric stun and Nocturne being as strong as he is, they could have definitely put some pressure on the towers. There's a huge minion wave up here. I'm just gonna get to farm it. Ezreal's ult's down, so he's not gonna be able to ninja that. Someone on blue side pinging for Dragon, which is smart. I mean, people you oftentimes will see teams forget that the Dragon spawns when it's this late in the game. When it's 33 minutes into the game, it just doesn't seem as relevant of a map objective. But it's still, however much it is, it's almost 1,000 gold, like 930 or something like that. So yeah, it's always good to just keep those objectives down. I mean, that's 3 kills worth of gold that you don't have to really do anything for, because I mean, it's just there's no chance of them dying on Dragon, obviously, at this late in the game, so it's just go right-click it for a little while. Oh, but purple team does have vision of this. Looks like they want to try and stop it, but it does go down. Dragon goes down very quickly this late in the game. We're gonna drop an ult on the Ezreal, who's right next to the Dragon wall there. Not the smartest. I mean, anybody could see that he's going to have the ability to just jump over the wall. So unless the rest of his team followed up on that, there was no chance of him getting a kill there. And now his ultimate's on cooldown for a little while, not too long. Warwick ults at max level. Warwick ult actually has a very short cooldown, especially if you have a frozen heart for that extra cooldown reduction. I believe it's, yeah. Oh. Man, that's actually, looking at it now, that's much shorter. It's up again. That is incredible. I didn't realize that was such a short cooldown. That's crazy. We're gonna throw in some blind bindings here. Another Warwick ult going down on the Ezreal. He's just gonna arcane shift away. And I'm not sure what purple team's doing here. They're just sort of split up, and not purple team, blue team. Just seemed like they were sort of split up, going everywhere along the map. And we got this Olaf putting some pressure on the Sun. Is he gonna get her? Is he gonna get her? No. Graves doing his damnedest to bring him down, and he gets him. And then she dies from an Ezreal ultimate. Oh, too bad. It was great that they actually did manage to guide him around for that long though. And they're gonna go ahead, I believe, and push to the Nexus now. Yeah, I'm just Warwick up at this point. There's nothing he can do. He's gonna just stand there and be a block of health. Oh, and he throws down an ultimate, but he dies. So, looks like this is gonna be the end of the game here. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time.